My teacher stormed into our classroom and asked, "Does that black guy look familiar to anyone?" We all looked at each other confused. Nobody recognized him. Some kids shrugged and others shook their heads. "Of course you don't," Mrs. Burnett said with tears in her eyes. "Tomorrow wear your best all-black clothes. We're going on a field trip to his funeral service." After class, I talked to my best friend Harry about it. "Who do you think that guy was?" "No clue, man. But did you notice how weird it was that she called him that black guy?" Mrs. Burnett never talks like that. A girl named Ashley walked up to us in the hallway. "I heard he was a criminal who hurt a student. They're making the student speak at his funeral as some kind of forgiveness thing." That didn't sound right to me. When I got home, I told my parents about the weird field trip. My mom's face went red immediately. "I know exactly who that man is," she said, grabbing her phone. "We're going to that school right now." "Who is he?" I asked. "Never mind that. This is inappropriate." Within an hour, my parents had organized a group of about 20 other parents. They all marched into the principal's office demanding answers about why their kids were being forced to attend some random black man's funeral during school hours. "This is a waste of valuable education time," my dad shouted at the principal. "We don't even know who this person is," another parent yelled. The principal looked overwhelmed and kept saying it was Mrs. Burnett's idea, and they'd discuss it at the next board meeting. Harry and I decided we were going to the funeral anyway. Something about this whole thing felt important and wrong at the same time. We told our parents we were going to school, but took the bus to the cemetery instead. When we got there, the parking lot was empty, except for Mrs. Burnett's car. We found her sitting alone in front of a casket, crying her eyes out. The funeral home was completely empty besides us. She looked up when she heard our footsteps. "Oh, boys, you came!" She hugged us both tight. "Thank you so much for being here." "Mrs. Burnett, where is everyone?" Harry asked. "They didn't want people to know the truth," she said, wiping her eyes. "The school board made sure nobody would come." "What truth?" I asked. She pointed at the man in the casket. "This man saved every single life in our school 2 weeks ago. Do you remember when we had that lockdown drill that lasted 3 hours?" We both nodded. They'd told us it was just practice, but it went on forever. It wasn't a drill. Jonathan here was walking into the school to drop off my lunch that I'd forgotten at home. He saw a young man pulling a gun out of his backpack at the front entrance. Jonathan tackled him before he could get inside. They fought, and the gunman shot Jonathan 3 times, but Jonathan held him down until the police arrived. My stomach dropped. He saved everyone, over 800 students and staff. But here's what they won't tell you. The shooter was Richie Anderson, Police Captain Anderson's son. Harry gasped. "The captain's kid?" That's why they covered it up. They couldn't have the police captain's son being the attempted school shooter, so they made it sound like Jonathan was the threat they told the news an armed intruder was shot by security. They made my husband look like the criminal to protect the captain's reputation. Mrs. Burnett started crying harder. "They won't even acknowledge what Jonathan did. They threatened to fire me if I told anyone the truth." "Mrs. Burnett," Harry said quietly, "who was Jonathan to you?" She pulled out her phone and showed us her lock screen. It was a wedding photo of her and Jonathan from 5 years ago. He was my husband. The 3 of us sat there in silence for a while. This man had died saving our entire school, and they'd covered it up to protect the police captain whose son tried to kill us all. His own wife had to mourn alone because the school threatened her job. Harry and I stayed for the whole service. It was just us 3 and the funeral director. Mrs. Burnett told stories about Jonathan and how he'd wanted to be a teacher too. How he'd practiced his lunch delivery routine because he was nervous about walking into a school full of teenagers. When we got back to school the next day, we told everyone what really happened. Kids started bringing flowers and candles to leave at the front entrance. By the end of the week, there were hundreds of cards saying, "Thank you, Jonathan Burnett," and "Hero," and "We remember." The school kept taking everything down, but we kept putting it back up. Eventually, so many students and parents learned the truth that the school had to release a statement acknowledging Jonathan's heroic actions. Captain Anderson quietly retired and moved his family out of state.